Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Is it? Morning, sorry. Hi, thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I want to start off, I have a confession to make. I've been having an affair for 26 years. I met and fell in love with a woman, and she took my business, she took my home, she even took my girlfriend, or at least the girlfriend didn't stick around. This infatuation has lasted ever since, and this is her. Tsebo, by the way, is a Sesotho word meaning knowledge. I arrived in Africa in 1991, and I'm the living proof of the African saying that once you get the dust of Africa on the soles of your feet, you cannot shake it off. We've heard many stories here in this auditorium of FM in the developed world. What I want to talk to you is about FM in Africa. I run a blog, and the hashtag I often use is FM in Africa. We have many stories to tell, but one of the things I have, my one little rant, is we hear this word EMEA spoken about. Europe, Middle East, and oh yes, Africa. Unfortunately, Africa almost never appears on any FM surveys conducted by organizations. It is often referred to as the dark continent, but we are doing some very special things on that continent. Just some context, CIFMERS, so the South African Facilities Management Association, which is one of the collaborators that you'll see on the board, have just done a survey internally. The FM market in South Africa alone is worth about $5 billion US. Interestingly, only about 13% of FM is outsourced, and I work for an outsourced operator. Like all FMs, we have our challenges, but we work at them and we overcome them. One of the specialities in South Africa, there's a saying in Afrikaans, it's boere maak 'n plan. And that basically means the farmer has to solve his problems. He's miles from anywhere, he's in the fields, he has to solve the problem with the tools that he had at his plans. And that's one of the things that we're very good at. We're very good at solving those problems. But I don't want to burst your bubble. Hollywood would have us believe that Africa is one country. It annoys the hell out of me when I hear we're going to Africa. What does that mean? Africa is not one country, it is 53 different countries. It speaks 1,800 languages. In South Africa alone, we have 11 official languages. That means every government document is published in 11 languages. She is our mother. She bears the stretch marks and scars of the birth of all mankind. The cradle of humankind, I live very close to it, about half an hour's drive away. Unfortunately, I have to share her with 1.2 billion other people. One in every 10 Africans is a Nigerian. It's the most populous country on the continent. But most of you will know Cape Town. Hands up, I can't see the audience, but hands up who's been to Cape Town. Anybody been to Cape Town? It's a beautiful city, an absolutely fabulous city, but it is probably the most un-African part of Africa. Johannesburg, they're on a PR binge at the moment, and their strapline is Johannesburg, a world-class African city. And in many ways, they're right. Infrastructure, construction, telecommunications, health insurance in particular. Most of you will know Discovery. They're African companies. But unfortunately, we also have the dark side of poverty and shanty towns that reflect large in the glass facades of big business in Johannesburg. South Africa is number one on the Gini coefficient. Those who know the Gini coefficient is the gap between the rich and the poor. Not a great place to be. Despite much of this, many of the countries in Africa are growing economically. They're growing at such a rate the Chinese are jealous. The Chinese have occupied an awful lot of Africa with their mining and their need and their hunger for Africa's resources. But alas, my love is being unfaithful to me. There are also many Western countries that are coming to her in search of the growth that she has to offer. But they do not understand her the way we understand her. They come, the big blue chip American, European countries come wanting global standards, but with African excellence. They come to us and we operate a lot of these facilities on their behalf, and many of those operators are in this room. Like all women, she is unique, she is rare, she is beautiful, she's ambiguous, she's intriguing, but most of all, she is ironic. Work this one out if you can. South Africa has the only democratically elected communist government in the world. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the female president of Liberia, said, "Africa is not poor. It is merely poorly managed." We have regions with poor or ineffective infrastructure, political interference, and strikes that lay bare critical installations for weeks on end. We deal with lack of or no electricity. We deal with water scarcity and no clean drinking water, hence the drip and the pool you see before you on the map above. But Africa deserves a place on the FM stage. Why? Yesterday, those of you who were here today, one of the stalwarts of the FM industry, Stan Mitchell, stood on this stage and called us all to action to get involved in the ISO standards. I was in the audience 4 years ago at our conference in South Africa and listened to that very same speech from Stan. We'd not been involved at all, and we got involved. And I'm very proud to say that we are now the first country, we're the first P country, we are the first country to have published our own international standards, SANS 1752, prior to the publication of the management standard 41,000 that Stan spoke about yesterday. Whilst we have ISO standards in South Africa, the quality, environmental, health and safety, asset management, risk management, Africa is not for the faint-hearted. She provides us with surprises every day. Occurrences that are merely scenarios in most facility managers' disaster recovery plans that sit on that dusty shelf. It happens to us every day. Facilities management should not ignore Africa, and they can learn, and you can learn from us as I can learn from you. After all, we have real examples where, despite our challenges, we operate at benchmarked SLA, KPI levels that our global counterparts are unable to achieve. Like all great love affairs, this relationship is complex, and as with most women, she has hidden mysteries. But, as any gentleman will tell you, never ask a woman her weight. Unfortunately, I'm no gentleman.
Andrew?
What I want to leave you with today is the sheer size of this lady that you see. For those of you, hopefully you can see that in the background. The brown is the United, this is all to scale, by the way, obviously. The brown is the United States, the orange is China, the yellow is India. We have, of course, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, Italy, and Eastern Europe across the top. And unfortunately, as is soon to be the case yet again, we have England as an island far away from Europe.
Andrew, I have to ask you to speak.
One sentence. So my call to action to you today is, here's a continent with huge facility management potential. I ask you all, please, put the A back into EMEA. Thank you and gracias.